Four juices today, it seems like I heard.
Well, Jalen Jenkins could have been an easy one on offense, but young guy perked up. I said, slow down, young guy. Let's give credit to the O-line, and it was Grant Stevens. So I thought the O-linemen did a great job today. We were very clean. I thought the ones were, set good pockets and kept Cam upright, and I think that was fun. And then, Lawrence and Nusi, I think were in the backfield all day, and, been excited to play some of those situations out, sack, fumbles, hits. That's where takeaways come from. So, the D-line has been bringing it all camp, and I think they showed some of that stuff today.
Just talk about Jalen a little bit. I mean, he was just every time he got the ball, it seemed like he was breaking something. I mean, we tracked him over 100 yards.
Yeah.
What have you seen from him to kind of, you mentioned the kind of by committee running back conversation, but he's got to be towards the top of that right now, doesn't he?
I mean, he's fearless. I mean, there's no situation that we've put in him so far, and he hasn't handled mentally and physically and passed every test that we've kind of had for him. So, the scrimmage is very detailed. It isn't just running out being plays, and he was one guy, as we talked as a staff, we wanted to make sure we had a clear picture of what Jalen is capable of doing, and I think you saw plenty of big plays from him. Like I said, I don't have the numbers, but, explosive runs are game changers, and I think that is what he brings to our offense, and then that allows the defense to have to come up, and then we can hit some things over the top. So I thought he had an excellent scrimmage, and I'm looking forward to him building off a little bit of success.
With a guy like Lawrence, RJ and Ram and Gabe kind of watch from the sideline, it kind of opens the opportunity for a guy like him. Just talk about, what it means for him to take advantage of that, see that opportunity, and then, produce on the field.
I think Lawrence has worked hard, and I've had an opportunity to see him really grow ever since he's gotten here. And, I think Ram's gotten a lot of attention in the same grade, and obviously RJ and BJ and all those other guys. But to have depth at the edge position is what you need to win in this league. And you have to be able to affect the quarterback. And the one thing I told Coach Ward, that we have to get better at this season is sacks. And Coach Cooper knows that, and Coach Ward, and it's been an emphasis. And now it's about doing it. So to get in some of these scrimmage situations and watch these guys do it is exciting. But it's going to take more than just RJ and BJ to get a pass rush. I think you saw it from Nusi, Tyler Gary Harris. Every time he gets an opportunity, is pushing the pocket. So those are really good things to see.
You mentioned it a little bit, but could you just kind of break down the O-line, D-line? Were you pleased with the kind of the back and forth they had today for the top couple of units, I guess?
I was, and I think our two O-line right now is young, and I think they're getting forged through the fire a little bit, and they're going against some pretty good guys. So, but I was happy with the 1OLs. We'll get Make back as we keep going through it. Kingston was very limited today. Connor was limited for the most part, but they're gelling together. I think we're getting some of the pieces in the right places, and Christian's growing up, and he's trying to prove that he can play serious minutes in this league. So I'm excited to get back and watch the tape. Sometimes you really, as you're watching it live, you don't get that feeling. But then defensive line-wise, I know we're cutting them loose a little bit more and allowing them to go make plays, and so far so good in that department.
I know, after these things, you got to watch the film often. But anything, as coaches coming off the field, you feel like, was a checklist item that you maybe accomplished a little bit today?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's just situational football. Things that you can't script. We had one heck of a 2-minute drill and got almost Hail Mary defense in there and got a chance to work with a lot of different things. And even for coaches, don't forget this is – that's why I talked about 22 new staff members, but our 10 full-time coaches really working together, getting on the same page. So I'm noting things on communication, coming out of huddles where we could get better and be more efficient as we get closer to game day. That's only 3 weeks away. So those are some of the things that these days create. They can be long. Some guys have to wait an hour before they get on the field. So, but I think our team showed a lot of maturity, even when guys were out. I saw Strib cheering on Zion making big plays. I hear BJ and RJ over there coaching. I just think it's signs of a really mature and engaged football team.
You guys end it with that, big pick six.
Yeah, we love big plays to end scrimmages. I love that. It's a fun deal.
Yeah, were there a couple on offense or defense, just a couple standout plays for your plays of the day today?
Well, to me, I like to watch his effort plays. And I saw Hudson Cedarland a couple times at the end. He's one of those guys that waited a long time to get his shot. And it was just running down a screen, then running to a ball and getting a big pick, which hopefully he takes that to the house. Obviously, Josh's play. But offensively, Strib, making a couple big plays early down the field. Zion Nunley, I think he's showing more and more that we can count on him and trust him. And then I think Jalen's big runs, and making second-level defenders miss is a big deal. And that's a sign of a really good football player, and I think that's what stands out to me so far.
And then obviously, playing all the quarterbacks, again, have to look at the tape and stuff, but just kind of your initial thoughts on that mix of guys today.
Well, I think Cam has been really sharp. I think we just got to make sure Cam is focused on things that he can control and keep getting better there. But one of the biggest things this last week of fall camp next week is going to be who's going to be the backup quarterback. And it's going to take a while to sift through this tape and sit down with the offensive staff and make sure we're putting those guys in situations to prove they can do it. So John and X and Emmett, I think, all had spots or moments today, but no one's been consistent enough to go grab that. And that's going to be a big opportunity for these guys next week as we limit Cam's reps, letting those guys see what they can do and, with that first unit.
Coach, 2'5" is not afraid to hit somebody, is he? Well, what did you see from Jaden today, and just as his growth as a redshirt guy coming in first year?
Growth is the exact word, because now, last year this time he's swimming. Spring ball he's starting to get it. Now I think you're seeing the type of player that he can be, and even NFL scouts that come walking through here, they go, "Who's 25?" And we still tell him he's a redshirt freshman, and it's exciting for him to see that growth. I think him and Jay Lee are the perfect complement at that position, and he'll get a lot of the reps. Against a 10 personnel team, you might see him more. Right, against Wisconsin in 22, you might see Jay Lee more. But don't for a second think we're just going to pigeonhole Jaden. We're going to try to. He's earned his way on that field. Is it end up going to be free safety at the end of the day? We'll see. This is a big final week for those guys and Jaden to continue his development.
And then we didn't see much of Deshaun Stribling today, but what we did see was pretty tantalizing. Can you just
I saw enough of Strib.
Can you talk about just like his hands today and how he was able to haul everything in and just kind of his...
It's just been, and the best part is it hasn't just been today. It's been the process throughout 9 practices of him going out and making plays and trusting his hard work. I think belief is grounded in hard work. And a lot of people in our building have seen Strib work when no one's watching and catch extra balls throughout the summer and really work on his speed and, more importantly, his releases. Because when people get into him last year, he got stuck. This year, I think Coach Filani has done an amazing job of giving him a toolbox that works for him, and I think you're seeing the maturation of a really dang good player. And I can't wait for Strib's future, another guy that has 3 years to play.
And then a perfect day for Dean today. How confident are you in your kicking game? He's an all Pac-12 guy.
You know what? I'm happy you asked about the kicker because I was going to bring him up myself. Dean has been in midseason form since day one, and I just see his confidence growing. I trust Dean. And to take that 52-yard field goal and put that thing where that probably would have been good for almost 60 is a big confidence builder, and using him as a weapon, out on that field. So I'm excited about Dean's progress.
We talked about over the last week and a half now a lot about the wide receivers, and it seems like every single series they're making some sort of acrobatic play. I think it was Bell in the back of the end zone on that broken play, and then Stribling I think stole another ball here today. How deep is this core?
I said it this week. We want to play guys, and that's fun when you have competition at a position. And Coach Morris and Coach Filani have come in here and say, guys, we're giving you all clean slates, and you got to come out here and do it again. And it's fun. They're competing with each other, but for each other. So when someone makes a play, it isn't I didn't do it. It's celebration for each other. So I think that's what we're seeing, a growing confidence between Cam and them, and being able to put the ball in some spots where he trusts them to go make some plays, and I think that's a fun place to be for our offense.
And then with Cam's quick release, it's just ultra fast there. Is there a challenge that you present to the wide receivers that you got to be ready for this?
Well, I think so, and I think they're, I remember all the way back till the spring where there's a couple balls that get on you so fast, you're just like, ooh, that's different. So I think now they know what to expect, and Cam has elite pocket presence. Right, so you never know when he's sliding around, boom, all of a sudden that ball comes out, you got to be ready. And the fact that he can spray it all over the field just has everybody on attention and run a purposeful route.
And it's not just the depth right now, the wide receivers, but also it looked like a lot of leadership. I saw Lincoln Victor, coaching up. It looked like Zion, and I saw Zion have a nice catch and a physical run up. I mean, what is it about this group that, is it just being tight, or what is it right now that's giving off the veteran leadership right now?
Well, I think it's a bunch of guys that want to prove themselves, and I think that's a powerful thing with young people. And not that anyone's doubting them, but I just think there's an element to it that they want to prove who they can be, and Lincoln to take the next step, and Strib to take the next step, and Don to show. It just, those type of atmospheres that we've created, I think it bonds them together, but it also breeds competition and hard work once they get out here. So I think that's an exciting thing for our offensive room, and I give a lot of credit to Coach Filani. Right, I sit in on those meetings, and all he talks about is you got to earn it. right? And you got to want it. And coaches him hard and tough, but he's very fair, and I think that's what you see out on the field.
What did you like from the running backs today?
Well, I just like the versatility. I mean, even Javinsky, you see him flexed out. I mean, you see Jalen running the football. I mean, I think he can be very multiple, and, pass pro and their keys and IDs were on point. So I thought it was a positive day, and we'll get Nakia back as we go throughout the next week, and excited to see him do some more things in the scrimmage to build his confidence too.
And I know defensive guy. What about a lineman on the defensive line specifically? Sorry.
I think we've been rock solid in the interior, and I think you saw Newsy and even Rashad McKenzie as a young guy towards the end of the scrimmage be a big force in an interior defensive line. So I think we know where we are at the edges, but I think to see the growth of the interior guys has been just awesome to see, and want to see those young guys and David Gusta, those type of people to make those big impacts have been huge.
Yeah, and so what are the biggest strengths and weaknesses that you saw out of today's practice?
I mean, like I said, I have to watch the film to just really digest where we're at. But situational football, I thought we were pretty good. I think we were pretty sharp, but there's a lot of learning opportunities, and we want to forge them through the fire of these scrimmages. So when we get to 3 weeks to that game at Idaho, we're humming, and the coaching staff, we know exactly where we want to be and who we can count on. So there's still a lot of work to do. That was the break. That's what the biggest thing, what it was about, is we got a week of hard work in our last week of camp coming up. So let's ready to get back after it on Monday, and we'll have the pads back on, and these guys embrace hard work, which is fun to be their coach when they take that attitude.